Personalization is key to unlocking great marketing messages, drawing a recipient's attention to spur a purchase. In Klaviyo, there are endless opportunities to customize your flows. Let's walk through an example in which we'll build a dynamic table of items, pulling in customer data to spotlight the actual item a recipient is interested in. We will walk through the following 4 steps: create a dynamic table, access key event data, add dynamic product details to your table, and finally, add a dynamic image to the table. First, head to a metric-triggered flow that you'd like to add dynamic content to. I'll use an abandoned cart flow. In this flow, drag and drop in a new email, or navigate to an existing email you've already created. Then, configure the email's content with Klaviyo's drag and drop template editor, where you can easily customize the look and feel of your message. In the email template editor, drag in a table, then click Table Settings and toggle on the option to make this table dynamic. Don't skip this step. Table contents do not transfer when switching a static table into a dynamic one, so you'll want this setting adjusted before adding any content to your table. Upon doing so, you'll see 2 new fields appear, one for row collection and the other for row alias. Don't worry about these just yet, as we'll come back to edit them shortly. For now, return to the Content tab, where you can adjust the columns of the table to your liking. In this example, I want to remind someone of items left in their shopping cart, so I'll showcase an image of the product on the left and share details like price on the right. In that case, I'll click into the left-hand column to select Image. Then, on the right-hand column, I'll choose Text. Great. Now we're ready to move on to the next step, which is all about accessing the data we need to fill in these columns. This data is formatted as an array, and at this time, we want to find the name of the array to ensure that the right product information can appear in our table. To locate this information, you must review event data pulled in from your flow trigger. Click Preview and Test. This preview will generate that data for real shoppers who qualify for your flow. If nobody has completed the triggering event yet, in this case starting a checkout, then you won't see data here. If that's the case, simply mimic shopping behavior yourself to test the experience. So I'd go to my site and abandon a cart in order for data to populate. That said, folks have already completed the triggering event, so I have preview data to scroll through. Here, find the relevant information you need, like image name and price within the arrays of data. More specifically, there are 2 arrays that store item information that I'm particularly interested in. These are items, which shows a simple list with each item's name, and line items, which contains more details around the item's price, image, and more. Let's say I want to input the title of the item someone left in their cart. I'll copy the variable for title, as you can see here. Now it's time to return to the dynamic table fields within your table settings. Under row collection, paste in everything up to but excluding the dot and number. You can also take out those curly brackets. So in this example, I'm specifically pasting event.extra.line_items. Great. Now we still need the row alias. Your row alias can be any text you'd like. You'll use it to identify the variables that should dynamically appear. So make it simple, descriptive, and easy to remember. That said, you cannot include special characters or spaces. I'm going to call this item for the sake of simplicity. And now the fun part. Let's add in your dynamic product details. After the data source is set up, you can move on to using variables to include text in your email. Since this email is for an abandoned cart flow, it's important to show the name of the product left behind, along with other details like the item's price and a link to purchase. Remember the information you copied from the preview trigger? Get ready to use that again. To input the product title in your block, navigate to one of the table's columns. We want an image in the first column and text in the second, so click on the column selector on the right of the block's content section. Paste in the full event variable that you copied from the preview modal. Then, replace your row collection within the variable, the following dot, and number with your row alias. In this case, that alias is item. All the while, keep the surrounding brackets in their place. Now, preview this email to ensure that the title shows up. If it doesn't appear, double-check the spelling, capitalization, and formatting of your text, as well as your settings in the Table Settings tab, to ensure that there are no errors. Repeat the same steps to add in any additional item details to this table, or add in any additional components to this email that fit your brand or help drive folks to your site. For instance, next, let's add a dynamic image to this table. To insert a dynamic image, you must first find the event variable for this image in the Flow Preview modal, just like we did for the item's title. This tends to be labeled Source, or SRC, as you can see here. Copy this array and head to the column where you'd like to display the image. Click the button to add an image. In the Dynamic Image tab, paste your image variable into the Dynamic Variable or Dynamic URL field. Again, follow the instructions from last time to adjust the text based on row alias you set to pull information about your item in. So, since item is my row alias, I will replace the first part of this array with item. Then click Save. You can optionally add a product URL to the link address field so that this image is clickable. Then, set a max width for the image, starting with 250 to 300 and adjusting as needed. After making any additional changes, preview your email to confirm that the item and item details appear as desired. If you spot an error, check the spelling of the variable against the one in the preview modal. And there you have it, a dynamic table that will populate content specific to your Flow recipient.